talk a little bit about nutrition, right? So first off, I wanted to mention that our nutrition centers, which really you can think of as your hunger center and your satiation center, that's located in the hypothalamus of the brain. So as I mentioned, the hypothalamus is constantly monitoring your digestive situation and knows how much protein you've consumed and how much carbohydrate you've consumed and whether or not you have enough calcium. And so the hypothalamus is also going to be in charge of your hunger and satiation. Many parts of the brain are involved with hunger and satiation, but the hypothalamus plays a big role. Now, when it comes to nutrients, there are 6 major nutrients: carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, vitamins, minerals, and water. Carbohydrates, lipids, and proteins are the 3 nutrients that provide us with energy, right? So we can use the energy in these nutrients in order to do work in the body. So carbohydrates are our main nutrient for energy, right? That's the main thing that we need to consume carbohydrates for. So sources of carbohydrates include things like breads, for example, but fruits and vegetables also contain carbohydrates. There is a non-digestible carbohydrate, which we call fiber, and even though it's not digestible and therefore not absorbable, it is important for proper health. So fiber is important for mainly the health of our colon. There's a lot of studies now that are looking at the role of fiber in various other things in the body too. Like, for example, fiber helps to kind of slow our absorption of glucose, which makes it easier to regulate our blood glucose levels. Now, if we consume too many carbohydrates, we can store some of those extra carbohydrates as carbohydrates in the liver, but once the liver is kind of maxed out its carbohydrate storage, most of those carbohydrates are converted into fat and stored in our adipose tissue. Now, lipids are also used for energy, but lipids do help to form our cell membranes, so we need phospholipids in our cell membranes. And then lipids are also used to make hormones. So we have many hormones that are based off of cholesterol, which is a lipid. In terms of food sources, most of our lipids come from meats and dairy products. Next up are proteins. So proteins have lots of different functions inside of our cells, and they basically are doing the bulk of the work inside of our cells. They are used to transport things and move things around, and they can be defensive, like antibodies, or they can carry oxygen, like hemoglobin. So they have lots of different functions. We can also use proteins for energy, though, too. Sources of proteins in our food usually come from meats, but they can also come from dairy products and from vegetables. Vitamins are organic compounds that have to be consumed in the diet, but they don't provide us with any energy. So carbohydrates, lipids, and proteins are also organic compounds that we have to consume in our diet, but those provide us with energy. Vitamins we can't use for energy. Some vitamins are necessary for energy yielding processes. However, we can't use them directly in order to obtain energy. So there are 2 main groups of vitamins: the water-soluble vitamins, which include the B vitamins and vitamin C, and then the fat-soluble vitamins, which are vitamins A, D, E, and K. And then we have minerals. So minerals are also known as electrolytes or ions, and these are inorganic substances. Many of them are elements that are essential for different types of chemical reactions in the body. So this includes things like iron, magnesium, sodium, potassium, calcium, just to name a few. I want to talk a little bit about body metabolism and the role of thyroid hormone. So metabolism is referring to all the chemistry that's happening inside of a cell or inside of our entire body. And a lot of these chemical reactions involve energy transfers from glucose to ATP, and then from ATP to doing work inside of the cell. So metabolism is going to also involve energy. Thyroid hormone is a major hormone that regulates our body metabolism. Thyroid hormone is made by the thyroid gland, which is located in the cervical region, right, so in your neck. Thyroid hormone is actually 2 hormones: triiodothyronine and tetraiodothyronine. Tetraiodothyronine is also known as thyroxine. So thyroid hormone is actually 2 hormones, but basically they're doing the same thing, so you can think of it as 1 hormone. And the job of thyroid hormone is to send messages to cells. And most of your cells in your body are capable of responding to thyroid hormone. And thyroid hormone tells the cells of your body that it's okay to make ATP. So basically, the thyroid hormone tells cells, go ahead and make ATP, and that's going to increase your body metabolism. So we carefully regulate thyroid hormone in the body. And most of this regulation happens up in the brain. So up in the brain, we have the hypothalamus and the pituitary that will be involved. Now, the hypothalamus produces a hormone that travels to the pituitary, and the pituitary makes another hormone that travels to your thyroid gland and tells your thyroid gland to make thyroid hormone. So we kind of have like a double level of security here on thyroid hormone. So the hypothalamus produces a hormone called TRH, or thyrotropin releasing hormone. And the hypothalamus releases TRH when your blood thyroid hormone levels are low. So when your blood thyroid hormone levels are low, basically your metabolism is going to be lower and you're going to not be making enough ATP for proper body function. So the hypothalamus will release TRH, and the TRH travels from the hypothalamus to the pituitary. And the pituitary gland just dangles basically right off the hypothalamus. So this hormone doesn't have to travel very far. So TRH is a hormone, so it is a chemical messenger, and it sends a message to the pituitary gland telling the pituitary gland to release TSH, another hormone. TSH stands for thyroid stimulating hormone, and the name tells you exactly what it's going to do. Thyroid stimulating hormone will travel from the pituitary gland to your thyroid gland, where it stimulates the thyroid gland to make thyroid hormone. Now your thyroid hormone will be traveling to your cells, telling them to make ATP, and the metabolism will then be increased. You might have heard of the conditions called hypothyroidism and hyperthyroidism. Hypothyroidism is an underactive thyroid gland, and these individuals don't make enough thyroid hormone, and so they usually take a thyroid hormone supplement. So someone that has hypothyroidism is going to feel very sluggish and very tired and not have a lot of energy. Hyperthyroidism is overproduction of thyroid hormone, and this can be very dangerous. These individuals usually lose a lot of weight, and which can be a good thing, right? But the hyperthyroidism can also play a role with the heart. So basically, if you're producing too much thyroid hormone, you're telling your cells to be way too active, including the heart cells. And if the heart cells are overactive, the heart can overwork itself. And this can lead to dangerous conditions in the heart that can actually cause stroke. So individuals with untreated hyperthyroidism are actually at a high risk for stroke. Like hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism can be treated. So certain drugs can be used to stop the thyroid gland from overproducing thyroid hormone.